Hey guys, so I want to give somebody out there some encouragement and um, ideally a better outlook on life. So some people out there are really struggling with their self-perception, or they might be struggling with their identity with respect to their past. Maybe they've got some past trauma, or they've just had to deal with hard knocks in life, and it's really making it difficult for them to move forward. They don't really know how to proceed in life because the stuff that has burdened them in their past is pulling them down, and it's basically being bondage to them, to where they cannot move forward because they're just always dealing with this trauma, or they're dealing with depression, or they're dealing with just a general attitude of life has always sucked, or it's just been terrible, or perhaps maybe life is getting better for them, but and so they're trying to take mastery over it, but they still deal with identity in what they have been through, and maybe their childhood years, maybe an extended, maybe if it's someone who's been in a divorce, maybe it's just the frustration of remembering the years that were wasted, that sort of thing. And if you're wondering how to move forward, I just want to say, you cannot move forward by dwelling on the past. You need to be looking at the future that God has planned out for you. So you remember that God has written your story. And yes, part of your past, I mean, your life as you've experienced it, is part of that story, in the sense that it is real, it happened to you. But God sees you as a conqueror. He sees you as an achiever. Of course, it's all through Jesus and what he did on the cross, but he wants to see you empowered through him to be conquerors, to be achievers. And in order to move forward, you need to see yourself as the child of God that you are. You are nobility. You are someone amazing. And so if you can stop paying attention to your past and what you've been through, and start paying attention to how God sees you. God sees you as a whole and complete person. God sees you as someone amazing who can do amazing works, amazing things for him and for the people around you. And in fact, if you see yourself as the embodiment of Jesus, because his spirit lives within you, and you get to have the opportunity to be the embodiment of his spirit here on this earth. You get to be Jesus here on this earth and portray Jesus to the world around you. Imagine that. And imagine having also the capacity to be free-willed enough to still make choices in life to improve on your surroundings, and improve your physical body, and improve your relationships by yielding to his processes as he guides you and as he trains you. So the best way to do this, to have the outlook in life of how God sees you, is to see yourself not just in your present, but in your eternity. So picture yourself a million years out from now. A million years out from now, did you know that in heaven you're going to have a role in heaven? And it's not just to be playing a harp on the clouds, but you're actually going to be given a position, a role, responsibility. God is not done creating new worlds. He's not done doing new things. After this earth is done for, he's going to be moving on to new projects, new things, new activities, and we get to be working with him, alongside him on that. We get to be partnering with Jesus on that. And our role in that place in heaven is going to be largely dependent upon how he has been able to trust us, and as proven out here on this life here on earth. So this life here on earth is a birth grounds. It's a birthing grounds for eternity, but it's also a testing grounds for our role in heaven. So picture yourself a million years out from now, or a billion years out from now, and God is creating new worlds, and you get to work side by side, shoulder to shoulder with Jesus himself. Jesus, the King of Kings, the designer of our world. You get to work alongside him as a brother. Imagine that. You get to work alongside him as a brother. Now, what would you do? What life would you live if you could choose what kind of role you get to have working alongside the king? If he entrusted you, and there was a high level responsibility in heaven, and that he could work alongside you to be highly responsible for significant tasks. Imagine that. Imagine you get to do some amazing things that was more prominent in heaven than if you were to just simply be a partaker of fun things and enjoying your mansion. How boring. So in order to get there, to see yourself in a high-level prominence in heaven, you have to see this life here on earth as a stepping stone, no longer as the life that you're living, but as a stepping stone into amazing role in heaven. And this is going to be, I think, something that you're going to hear a lot from me in the years going forward, because this is something I think about a lot as I try to focus on eternity. I really, really want to see myself as a person of prominence in heaven. But what that means is is not that I build up my ego, that I become someone who is prominent here on earth. But what it means is that I have a strong desire to please Father. To please Father. I want to please Father with everything that I do. And how do you please Father? Well, first of all, I have to be a person of faith. You cannot please God without faith. So to have faith, I have to believe everything that He said about me. Everything that He said to me. So whatever He says to me and about me, I have to stand firm in it, and I walk in it. And if He says something about how He sees me, I believe it. If He sees me as someone of nobility, I believe it, and I stand firm in it. He sees me as someone who is going to be a conqueror, I believe it, and I stand firm in it. If He says that I don't have to worry, I have nothing to worry about with respect to putting clothes on my back or having food for my stomach, I believe it, and I stand firm in it. So that's the first step. As you see yourself into eternity, you want to have a high level prominence in heaven, in eternity. And how do you do that? You please Father. Father will give you that level of prominence. How do you please Father? You believe everything that He said about you. And then you take your place. You take your place in service. And you take a place of high-level eternal prominence by way of high-level eternal service, eternity-minded service. What does high-level prominent eternity-minded service look like? Well, let's say if you're a giver. If you're a giver, then you need to give generously. But you do that in the way that the way that Father told us to do that. Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So you secretly give. You secretly give somebody things that they did not expect, and you tell no one. Right? That's just an example. And the most important thing is you get a really, really close, intimate relationship with God. Not just so that you feel like you've met your religious obligations. That's ridiculous. You know that God is a person, and God is someone. If you want to get God's favor, get a close relationship with Him. Buddy up with Him. That's not manipulation. That's just developing a relationship. And so as you get a relationship going with Him, you get that closeness going with Him. Get close enough to where you can hear His heartbeat. He starts telling you secrets. Secrets about you, secrets about Himself, secrets about the world around you. That's the buddy system that you need. That's the system where you know that you can do anything, you can go anywhere, you can have high-level responsibilities. And suddenly your past starts to fade. None of that stuff matters anymore. Your burdens that you've been carrying around, that just starts to fall off because you're not worried about your past. You're enjoying a deep relationship with your Creator who loves you and who guides your path, who gives you tips, guidance for how you take care of yourself. This fast that I'm on a 40-day fast right now, and it's amazing. It's doing amazing things for my body, for my mind. And I'm telling you guys that I wouldn't have figured out to do the fasting if I hadn't spent some time with him in the first place. If I hadn't developed a sense of faith in him to be able to trust him in what he's doing in me and for me and how he has given me direction, just trusting him and being able to live by his guidance, I didn't know to do that. But it turns out it's not that hard. As long as I'm yielding to the process, he's going to give me a process that's going to be worthwhile and fruitful. And my past, I got things in my past that I regret, but they don't overcome me anymore. I'm an overcomer. So he wants you to be an overcomer, but the way to do that is stop dwelling on what it is to overcome. That's not the solution. You're living in Romans 7 if you're living that way. If you're stuck with trying to overcome your past or overcome sin or that sort of thing, you're stuck in Romans 7. You need to live by Romans 8, live by the Spirit. And you do that by being close to him, by seeing yourself eternally minded, by having a position, a prominent role in heaven, and you're going to put yourself on track to being a high-level, high-prominent person of significance in the kingdom. And that is going to make your past look like something that didn't even affect you at all. You're going to almost laugh. You're going to laugh at your past, knowing that Satan had nothing to do. He had no success. The only thing that he did is to help you get driven to the point where you're going to take action. And that action is going to be to move you forward into eternity. And what a wonderful, exciting opportunity, prospect that is going to be for you. God bless you. And I look forward to posting like this in the future.